Hello, my new friends. My name is Jennie, and I will be your host for Second Chance on Love Side B. So, for this first episode, before we jump into the drama, the dances, the high school rivalry, or the did he or didn't he like me massive teenage confusion that we all survived, I have to set the scene because you cannot fully appreciate this love story unless you understand the time and the place it's coming from. We're talking 1985 Alaska and not the cute travel brochure Alaska. I'm talking about Alaska, the last frontier, land of the midnight sun, where the state bird is the mosquito, which I still have scars from. It's the place where winter shows up and doesn't really ever leave. Months of darkness. The only way to get your vitamin D is a supplement or a tanning bed. And the dark winters are the kind of cold that stings your skin. Even your big hoop metal earrings feel like ice, and your mascara can freeze to your lashes if you step outside before they dry. And yes, this is real, super funny. In Alaska, you literally plug your car in if you don't park it in the garage so it won't freeze to death overnight. Like, I'd walk outside and see these long orange extension cords everywhere and think, this is normal? So now just picture me. I had just moved to Alaska from the lower 48, so I was the new girl, which is basically the social equivalent of walking into a movie halfway through, and everyone already knows the plot, the characters, the inside jokes, and who's dating who. I don't know the cliques, I don't know the rivalries, or the don't talk to her because she used to date him rules. And here's the thing about high school back then. You were categorized immediately. It didn't matter who you actually were as a human. What mattered was what clothes you were wearing. What music do you listen to? That determined your entire identity for your high school career. It was basically like a live version of John Hughes' The Breakfast Club, but with more strawberry lip smacker, Giorgio Beverly Hills, and shoulder pads. So you have the Buffies, who are the preppies. Perfect clothes, perfect hair. Look like they were born holding a curling iron in one hand and a college application in the other, listening to their favorite top 40 hits blasting in their Sony Walkman. Then there are the jocks. The Letterman jackets, the confident swagger when they walk, and the ability to handle a basketball or a hockey stick like it was attached to their body. Then you have the kids who people literally labeled as, quote, stoners, just because they were listening to bands like Motley Crue, AC/DC, The Scorpions, and my favorite, Def Leppard. And they walked around like they were living inside a music video wearing their concert t-shirt, which they literally got at the concert. It was a trophy because back in those days, you couldn't order online. You had to get your concert t-shirt from going to a concert. And literally, some of them were smoking in the boys' room with some teachers, not kidding. But then there were the new wavers, living in their own mysterious, dark little universe with their black eyeliner, big hair, big feelings, the artistic kind. They would listen to bands like The Cure, Oingo Boingo, Depeche Mode, and they looked like they knew something about the universe that you didn't, and they weren't going to explain it, but they might write a song about it. So you could tell where someone belonged just by their footwear and their mixtape. That's the whole vibe. And while this was happening, I'm over here doing what any reasonable new teenage girl would do in Alaska. I was wearing my cute pumps, my little skirts, and jelly shoes with neon scrunchy socks in the winter, in the snow. Yes, I know. Like my mother said, it was not practical. Was it warm? Also, no. But it was a vibe, absolutely, because sometimes you're just too cute to care if your toes are freezing off. And of course, the social scene wasn't just at school. It was the mall, because in the 80s, the mall was basically where all the teenagers migrated to. So we'd maybe skip class just briefly for educational reasons if there was a sale, and suddenly we're walking the mall like we own the place, unless we ran into our principal. And there it was, Orange Julius, a little cup of happiness, the movie theater with the extra butter popcorn, and then J. Jacobs. J. Jacobs was the trendiest fashion moment. If you had something or an outfit from J. Jacobs, you were totally somebody. You weren't just wearing clothes, you were making a total fashion statement. So that's the world I'm in. Frozen air, mousse, causing traffic jams, kids getting their pilot's license before their driver's license, plugged in cars, neon socks in the winter. The mall was a social headquarters and a high school hallway that literally judged you faster than your report card ever could. So now let's talk about the magic of the 80s school dances. If you didn't live through an 80s gym dance, let me explain. It was like a teen zoo with crepe paper, but with better music and big hair. The lights were dim. Everybody was on the dance floor dancing. The floor was squeaky. The air smelled like a mix of basketball sweat, Aquanet, and Ralph Lauren polo. But then honestly, it was like the best music ever. The 80s was a soundtrack for every teenage emotion that you just didn't have the words for yet. There was no social media, no texting, no, I saw you viewed my story. If you wanted to know if someone liked you, you had to do something terrifying like make eye contact. And if you wanted to talk, you had to get their phone number to call their house phone and pray that their dad didn't answer. I also had a 15-minute phone limit. 15 minutes, literally. My mom would pick up the other phone in the other room and announce, Jennie, your time is up. So nothing keeps romance alive like your mother running a timer in the background. So when I say communication was hard back then, I totally mean it. We weren't just ignoring each other, we were just trapped in the technology of the 1900s. And that little detail, it matters. Because when you can't talk things out, misunderstandings sadly totally get blown out of proportion. And honestly, that's how a lot of teenage drama was born. 15 minutes, long distance, a landline, rival high schools, and a whole lot of feelings nobody knew how to say out loud. So now, let's talk about what happens next because it's about to turn into a full blown 1985 rom com.
All right, guys, this is super fun. I've been wanting to interview you for a while for your own podcast, Jennie.
Yay!
Excited to do this. Yes. Okay. So I love your guys' story, and I know that
Mhm.
listeners are going to just love it first. So I would just love to hear. Actually, I want to start with Bryan real quick. Tell me a little bit about high school and the first time you can remember Jennie.
Okay, so back in 85,
Uh-huh.
1985, my best friend, Jerry, and her best friend, Debbie, were boyfriend, girlfriend. And I didn't know Jenny, and she didn't know me. And they got us together at a dance, at a high school dance.
Okay. So,
That was
Jennie, yeah, tell me about that dance because you are a new girl. I wanna hear a little bit about that. The new girl in Alaska, don't fit in, and you're like, "I don't belong here." So tell us a little bit, kinda like set up for the dance, and then that time when you first saw Brian.
Well, I was kinda hanging out with someone a little older than I was because I was new in town, and he was kind of being affectionate with me and was way older and inappropriate, probably, relationship was heading down that road, and my friend Debbie, who we shared a locker with, who was also new to Wasilla, we ended up sharing a locker, and there was a dance coming up on the weekend, and she said, "So, my boyfriend can bring his best friend who's more our age and he's really cute, and he has a nice car."
Which is
So,
really important if you're in high school.
when you're a 15-year-old girl, so I was like, "Okay."
I
And
did have a nice car.
he ended up driving us everywhere. But, I didn't know what he looked like. I didn't know there's no social media back then, and she just said, "He's really cute." And so I was like, "Okay." So I trusted her, and I had never met Jerry before. I had seen him around, but I didn't know him. I didn't know that was her boyfriend. So when he walked in, I was like, "Oh, I recognize him." And then I guess Brian was swaggering behind him, and I just remember the first time I saw him, I just watched The Outsiders on VHS at my friend's house,
I
and Brian
love the VHS
yes,
incident. Yes.
H.
and he was wearing a members only jacket, 501s and a T-shirt, and he wasn't all glammed out like some of the guys that went to my high school were trying to be Don Johnson or John Taylor or Nick Rhodes like this older guy was, and he was just like a real boy, and I was like, "Wow, he looks like Matt Dillon a little bit." So, Debbie and Jerry go off on the dance floor, and they don't I don't even remember if they introduced us. I think they just, like, took off, And and Bryan and I were just like, "Oh," and I don't know how we got talking about he was the oldest of 7 kids, and I was the oldest of 7 at that time. My baby sister hadn't been born yet, so immediately that connected us. We're like, "Oh my gosh." So, talking about our siblings. I remember talking about our siblings a lot because that was something we had in common. So,
Yes, we both babysat our siblings.
on
So,
Friday
yeah.
nights and talking long distance on
Yep.
the phone while we were babysitting and them getting on the other landline and my sister Cammie.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we have to talk about the 80s for a minute. Okay,
Yes.
like, we had dances in the gyms,
Yep.
with the best music ever, by the way, the 80s
Yes.
music, big hair, like you talk about Bryan looked like Matt Dillon, and, phone you didn't live in the same town, so it was long distance trying to call. There wasn't texting, we didn't have cell
No.
phones, like, my kids will say, like, "You were in the 19s." Yes, this was the 19.
Yep.
In
Yep,
the
the 1900s.
in the 1900s, yes.
Yep.
We had this, but, like, it's not like you could just, like, friend him on Instagram or, like, slide into his DMs or, like, like, it take
Yeah.
to even stay connected back then.
Right, and I had a 15-minute time limit that I could talk on the phone. So, if we wanted to communicate, Bryan would call me. I remember you guys had a siblings line. You guys did, the kids, you're and but we did it at my household, and so we all had the whole family had to share one landline, and so we had to take turns, so I had a 15-minute limit, and if I reached that 15 limit, my mom would get on her phone in her bedroom and say, "Jennie, your time is up," and I'd be like, "Oh my heck, this is so embarrassing," so I'd have to hang up, and so when we talked and spoke, part of our, the disconnection we had a little bit and misunderstandings is because we couldn't really talk and say what we needed to say. It's just like, "I'll see you at the next dance on Saturday. I'll see you this weekend." And
Yeah.
going to 2 separate high schools, that was kind of,
Schools.
you
And
know
we were rivals too. So,
yeah.
like, yeah.
I had to clear his name, when he would come back to the dances after that, as well as Debbie with Jerry with, Dr. J, our principal, to make sure that it was okay. There wasn't gonna be, like, a fight or anything. So, they had to be approved to come through the front door, and we had to escort them in.
Yeah. So, but
So,
but
but
but you were interested in Bryan, right?
yes.
He was, like, super cute, but, like, there was not that you can't talk hours on the phone, it's not like you
No.
each other at school and passing notes. So how did your relationship, like, progress or kinda progress? I mean, did it progress?
Well, honestly, through Jerry and Debbie,
Yeah.
because Debbie would talk to Jerry on a regular basis. And because I don't think it was long distance from Wasilla to Eagle River at that time, but it was long distance for me because I lived further out. So she would call me and give me messages once in a while, like, "Oh, Jerry said that Bryan said this," or, "She said, he said." And so it was always through that. And, "Oh, Bryan and Jerry are going to meet us at the church on Wednesday night." We were in a dance recital, Debbie and I, for our church. And Bryan and Jerry would drive over because Bryan had the car. So Jerry would like drive me to Wasilla to see Debbie, and you can see Jennie. So
Yeah.
they were like the two meddlers in the middle
They were. Yeah.
quite a bit.
Yeah.
And so when we would have misunderstandings, Debbie would call Jerry, Jerry would call Bryan, and then Jerry would call Debbie back, and then Debbie would call me. And somewhere in between all that mix, a lot got lost in translation, I think. When,
Mhm.
that game you play, you start with the story and you said go around the circle and it ends up being, yeah. So I think some of that happened too. But the bottom line always was Jerry would always say, "Oh, Bryan really likes you. He really likes you. I'll bring him to the next dance. He really likes you." So, um,
Yeah. We did quite a bit of double dating
Mhm.
with them, and they were always in the back seat making out. And we were in the front kind of
Yeah.
awkwardly, like, because we,
yeah. So
we liked each
I
other, but
remember,
we,
I
anyway, we were,
specifically remember this one time. It was after your guys' homecoming, and we were driving to Palmer in your car, and the sun was setting. It was so beautiful. It was in October, so it wasn't dark all the time yet, and the snow on the mountains was just gorgeous. And they were in the back seat, and we had been listening to the radio, Kate 101.3
yep.
KGOT,
0.3.
and I just bought the new Tears for Fears tape, songs from the big chair. And I'm like, "We gotta listen to this tape because they're back there and we're up here." So anyway, to this day, throughout all of the years, when I hear shout or, everybody wants to rule the world, I go back to that moment in time. I remember it like yesterday.
funny.
Yeah. And then so like you'd see each other at dances, but then Bryan, you would see like Jennie dancing with other guys, and then Jennie, you would see Bryan kissing other girls. Like I want to hear some of these stories too. Because yeah.
And especially when they were your friend.
Well, yeah. So
Like,
it did start out with Jennie with other guys, wanting to dance with her and be with her and talk to her
the look
and
on
I would
Jennie's
be
face right now.
yeah, and I'm like, okay, whatever, and there I guess there was a time that I left the dance
you left me at the dance twice,
and I and
and I
I
had to find my ride home.
and she said so this is the thing. So the drinking her root beer float, I I can imagine myself doing
You did that. Yeah, once again, going
being
to
mad, being upset. So, okay, I'm leaving.
well, and once again, going to separate high schools. Whoa. Um, it was kind of awkward because I had a lot of guy friends
Yep.
and I was new in town. And so they were kind of circling around me and Debbie. And I was just being nice. And Bryan just shows up to the dance and I'm already out there dancing with someone else. And he didn't like that. And then at one point he would say, "Don't go dance with those guys. Don't go talk to them. Just don't even go talk to them." I'm like, well, I kind of have to because it was at a church dance. And
She has to do.
I felt like I had to because nobody was talking to them. And so I come back over and he'd left the dance and drinking.
So there were some misunderstandings.
Okay, but we have to talk about Star.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Bryan, go ahead.
Well, there's a whole lot to that one. But Jennie
Barry's gonna talk about it.
No. We're going to talk about
okay,
this.
start.
So
Okay.
how did it even come up? And
So I saw her at a dance, got her phone number. I didn't know she was Jennie's friend at first.
she came with me.
Well,
You just don't
guess
remember.
maybe I don't remember.
There's
There's
parts
some
of his
there's some things I try to block out of my mind.
out. He blocked it out.
It's and so, yeah,
Well, I get a
okay,
call
go
from
ahead.
Bryan, and
She'll tell the right story. She'll tell the
that
truth.
says, "Hey, why don't you come over to Jumpers in Anchorage and meet us on, it was like a Friday or something, and bring your friends and bring your friend Star. I'll bring my friends." Okay.
Mm.
And we get over there. Our friend's mom drove us. The roads are really bad. It's in winter, February, and we're
In
there. We get out of the
Alaska.
car. In
February.
Alaska, in Anchorage, yes, in the middle of the cold winter, dark winter. And we get there, we get out of the car, and Bryan's there with his cute friend. He was really cute, Clayton. And I love you, Clayton.
Hi, Clayton.
Yes, yes. He was very cute. He was all new wave-ish, had a mohawk, combat boots, and a army jacket. And I was talking to him, and Bryan and Star and our other friend walk in the dance club. And I just remember walking in, and they were on the dance floor dancing to "You Spin Me Round" like a record, and to "Dead or Alive" or DOA. And I'm like, oh, okay, so this is what's happening. And I remember he bought her a Coke. These were like teenage dance clubs that were
Yeah,
just for
yeah.
teenagers in the 80s. They were everywhere. And you could go up to the bar and have a soda.
Right.
And it was just good, clean fun. And
Mhm.
so there's just the hangout spots back in the 80s, which is fun stuff. And anyway,
Well, so I just have to say something here. So Jennie remembers a lot more
I have
of
a
the story
journal,
than I do.
and I have a journal.
And so when we met again, like all those years later,
Which we're
I
gonna get
remember
to. That's
having
why this is a second chance podcast.
yes, all these years later, we had a discussion about this individual
This
about
incident.
and about Clayton. And what's funny is I don't remember all of the things. So when she started talking about it, I was like, it really happened? And she mentions Clayton's name and I go, Oh, no,
And he
I'm
was
in
like,
trouble.
"Do you know Clayton?" I'm like, "You introduced me to him. You set me up with him." Well, you went off with Star, and then not that story doesn't end there though
No, it
at the
doesn't end,
dance.
and unfortunately, it doesn't end there. Unfortunately, it doesn't end there, but the whole thing is, like, when she started telling me this story, I couldn't remember all the things, and so I was like, "No way that happened," that kinda thing, and, of course, she mentions Clayton's name and different things, and I'm like, "Oh, crap, that did happen," but
Yeah.
but it's kind of interesting, like, how it all came about again all those years later, and now we talk about it. It's kinda funny, but not kinda funny. It wasn't funny at the time.
Not when you kissed her right in front of me.
That's the non-funny part.
And
But
Clayton, he agrees with the story.
oh, yeah, well, that's and
He
what's
verified.
He
Well,
verified.
that's what's funny is I mentioned I Facebook messaged him and I said, "Hey, do you remember this person and all this stuff that happened?"
The
And
girls from
the
Wasilla.
girls and he goes, "Oh, yeah." And then he's like so it verified it and I'm like, "Oh, crap."
And then you even met up with him when you went home to Alaska
Yeah,
this
I
last
did, yeah.
to
Yep,
lunch with
yep.
Clayton.
I went to lunch
Oh,
with him and it was fun, but yeah, so
and, I would have really liked to have hung out with him more. He was very cute,
he
very
was a fun
handsome
guy.
guy, very fun. We got along really well. We loved the same music, Depeche Mode, anyway, but the
But after
situation that it was I felt bad for him because I felt like he was in the middle of the drama
all this
that
stuff.
someone created. And he and I were both just innocent bystanders, like, being friends. I mean, he bought me a Coke too that night, but, yeah, he called me and asked me if I wanted to go out to the movies with Bryan and Star the next week. I was like, "No, I'm I'm going to Utah for spring break, goodbye," and that was it with him until all these years later. So,
But just to put it in perspective,
yeah.
yes, I did. Apparently, I kissed her in the car when we were all together,
Mhm.
and
Jennie
she
Jennie
we're
remembers this very
yeah,
well.
she remembers it very well.
Mhm.
Um,
It's written in my journal,
yeah, I know, and it is. It actually
and
was.
Tricia has a copy.
Oh,
I
that's
do have
okay.
a copy.
So verification there, but there were other parts to the whole story, the whole thing. I mean, her dancing with the other guys,
Well,
and there was other
before
before
when that
that
happened with Star,
that
um,
may have been somebody that she kissed
he kissed in front of
in front
me
of. Yeah.
when saying it was at a youth conference, and we were at the junior high in Wasilla, and he was headed back to Fairbanks, and he kissed me goodbye. I turn around, and there's the car, Jerry's dad, Jerry, Bryan, and their 2 brothers staring at me. And then that's when the other situation happened at the dance
So there
club,
you
the
go.
jumpers.
Yeah.
It was really back and forth, back and forth. In fact, I remember. Well, I don't remember. Well, okay, the part where I actually brought a girl to a dance.
That was before
Jenny
was
wanted
before
me.
before.
So Jenny wanted to talk to me
Yes.
after the incident with the boys and
The
day
when
dance,
the
and when
when
I
that
left,
Bryan
yeah,
drove off and drank a river float,
yeah,
Debbie called me and said, "If you just call Bryan and talk to him
let's
in
talk to.
person and invite him to the next dance, he'll come over and he'll listen, so you don't have to talk on the phone 'cause you only have 15 minutes." And I wanted
Yeah.
to talk to him in person. I had everything ready. I was gonna say, "By the way, that's the first dance I invited Star to." And so we're at the dance. I'm waiting for Bryan because he said he was probably gonna come because once again, we didn't talk every day. We didn't go to the same school, so we talked a week, before. Yeah, I'll probably come to that dance. So I was like, "Oh, good, good." I get to tell him how I feel, and all the other boys know I like you. And Debbie's like, "Oh, for sure, he'll listen. He'll understand." So Debbie didn't happen to be at that particular dance. It was just me and Star. And I'm waiting and waiting, and I see Bryan walk in. I'm like, "Oh," and you had a pink shirt on. I just remember you had a pink shirt on. And there was this girl standing behind him. And I'm like, "Oh, I don't know who she is, but she did have a really cute skirt on, and it was from J. Jacobs. I know it was. It was this peach denim skirt, and it was really cute. And she was really cute. I'm like, "Oh, we could be friends, but who is that?"
Yeah.
And Bryan didn't see me. He was looking all over, and then he saw me, and we locked eyes, and he got this really big cheesy grin on his face, like,
Bryan!
"I came to the dance. Here I am. You gonna talk to me now?"
With a girl. With a
So I
girl.
may have been a little strategic in my in my games I played,
So they
but I have to say this. I have to say this, and I don't know what it is, but girls remember everything.
Do we?
Guy? Yeah, I think so. I think so. Like, you remember what dress she wore and, like,
I
all
just
that stuff.
the skirt because
Oh,
I
the
almost
skirt.
bought it.
And I'm
And
like,
what perfume were you wearing?
Giorgio Beverly Hills.
and me, I don't know what I was wearing.
You did
Apparently a
smell
pink
good.
shirt.
You smelled really good though.
Oh, I
That's
smell
it.
good.
And your mom was a Mary Kay
Yeah, that's true. Good.
lady,
Yeah,
and so it was probably something Mary
probably
Kay
something, yeah, probably the cologne.
she gave to you because she wanted you to smell good for the girls.
Probably.
I can see her wanting that for you.
But we have to remember though, first of all, this is the 80s. You didn't have communication. Also, when you're a teenager, your brain isn't fully developed yet.
Yeah, that's what I tell her now. It's just I was an idiot.
And Jennie has record of it in her journal.
She does, and it was verified by other people. I get it. I just
Okay,
maybe I tried to forget it.
I want to do one more story, then we're gonna break because we're gonna move on to other stories. But talk about the ring. Talk about the ring, because
Oh,
Brian tried. Brian tried.
yeah.
And your Letterman's jacket.
And yeah,
Okay. So I had a Letterman's jacket. I went over to, I think it was your school.
Yeah, it was
It was a game,
it
wasn't
was
it?
it was we were
Football game?
playing you guys. Jerry was
Yeah,
playing.
Jerry was
It was
was
Westfield
the
versus
quarterback.
Stuttgart.
Okay. And I remember this. I remember giving her my jacket.
Mhm. It was
She was
cold.
wearing my jacket. And then I think I don't when was the ring thing? Was that, like, later?
Okay, so we snuck off to your car because it was
Right.
cold, and we were sitting in your car talking, and the windows were fogging up really bad, and we were like, "Oh my gosh, they're gonna think we're like people are gonna think we're making out." And so you would turn the car on, you would turn it off, and the windows, and I think we drove down to Cars Mall to get something,
Okay.
and then we drove back to the high school. We were sitting there, and you
And then I gave her my ring.
well,
I I get okay. So what did I say? Because
and this is in my journal too.
it's in her journal, so this is
So,
evidence.
he leans over and he just hands me this ring, his class ring, and I'm holding it, and he was like, "Here, I don't wear this anymore." And I'm like, "Oh,
Now that doesn't surprise me because
well
I
then
I was very shy. Now, Jenny would I think she understands that now, but
I
I
do."
mean, I was very
But
shy and I would never even make the moves on the girls. They'd have to make the move on me. That's just the way it was. And so me giving her a ring, I can imagine me saying I don't use this anymore.
I don't
Like,
this
you want
anymore
it? Because I'd be like too embarrassed to say,
if you were rejected.
yeah.
But then that happened because I didn't know what to do with it.
Yes.
So
And then she rejected me.
here's your ring back. I don't know what, and then I'm like, "Is he trying to ask me to be his girlfriend?" He's putting his arms around me all the time, and lets me wear his Letterman jacket,
and
but
he's like handing you a ring, but he's saying he doesn't wear it anymore.
It was another one of these
specific
it's another one of these communication kind of things that just didn't work out.
it just did not.
And by the way, that was before the other incident. So just wanted to make that very clear.
Yes, that happened. So then you were just confused, Brian. You didn't
I
know
was confused,
why
yeah.
you got rejected. Y-
And the girl in the
How
car,
was that rejecting you?
and the girl in the car, she kissed me. So
I actually kissed you after
yes,
the
you have,
after the one
and
dance that
you
night.
have it recorded.
Yes, your mother
I made the
gonna
first
know
move.
now,
It
Jenny.
was
Your
yeah.
mom's gonna know you made the first move now. It's all
But it was a quick and then she's gone kind of thing.
yeah, yeah.
It was because
Okay.
Goodbye
it was
kiss.
after.
We have a couple things, like, we're gonna come back. There's gonna be more to the story, but there's actually a novel that has a lot
Yes.
of these events in it. Let's talk a little bit about that before we sign off for today. So, Brian, I was at a conference and talking about health coaching. All of a sudden, you're like, "Wait, you write novels? You got to hear this story." So all of a sudden, I'm like, "Who
No.
are you? And what's going
What
on here?" And yeah, but it is a novel now. At
Yes,
Shoot the Stars.
and
Uh,
thank you to you.
it's just so and it's so cute. So a lot of these stories are actually kind of in the novel. Kind of it's fictionalized, but
Right.
A lot of it is based on true stuff, which is super fun. So we won't give it all away, but you guys did get a second chance. We'll be sharing more of
Yes.
how that came to be, which is why we have Jennie's podcast, Second Chances. So the novels, As Sure as the Stars, we're going to be talking more about that and how that came to be. We're going to talk about like they're teenagers. There's like, I like you, but I don't know what to do. But you
I
don't.
don't know what these feelings are.
Yes.
How
And
you
so we're going to
supposed to
talk more
feel?
about that. There's also, like, honestly, if you were to script a movie, some of the events that, which there is a script for this also, but some
Actually,
of
yeah.
the events are like straight out of a movie. I mean,
Mhm.
it's just like straight out of a movie, but these really happen to you. Um,
Yeah.
just misses. And so the second chance, like it's such a good story, but it was also really hard. Like there's a lot of hard things you had to go through before you got to the second chance. So we'll be talking about that next time.